When I was at an international conference in Boston recently, one of the presenters, who was British, told me she was bringing back small gifts to her colleagues in London. I asked her, "What did you find?" She said, "Pigskins." I said, "What was that?" "Pigskins." But I'm not catching that. Can you spell that for me, please? She said, Biscuits.
Oh my.
Biscuits. When this happens, and it does, I point to myself and I say, hearing loss. Because with hearing loss, you've got to laugh sometimes. And be a bit brave, especially when feeling vulnerable. I'm braver now than I was in 7th grade when my English teacher, inspired by the TV show Laughing, directed a talent show featuring my classmates. I was too shy to go on stage, and she knew it, but she also knew that I appreciated watching my friends perform, so she would write an excuse to get me out of the class to watch the rehearsals. I can still picture sitting next to her and laughing. I believe that we are never too old to learn or do something new. Just say yes. So, all these years later, I said yes to Kunal's invitation to speak in front of all of you about my disability. So mine is an invisible disability. In my early 20s, I was diagnosed with a hearing loss. After denying it for 10 years, I began wearing my first hearing aid because I was missing words when my colleagues were speaking at meetings. And when you miss a word, you often miss context. And I was missing a lot. I've now been wearing hearing aids for over 35 years. God bless you. Wearing them changed my life. I used to hide my hearing loss. So much stigma. But as I got older, I realized it wasn't the secret I thought it was. Now, when meeting someone new, I say, I need to face you to hear you. Which is why I'm sitting over there, by the way, so I can get on stage more. My hearing aids have improved dramatically over the years, with phone calls, music, and podcasts streaming into both ears, like earbuds, for those of you that with normal hearing. So when Kunal asked me to come up here and be funny, I smiled because of all things, with hearing loss, we don't often catch the joke. Literally. We might be at an event, everyone's laughing, we just don't hear enough of the words that are funny. It can be really frustrating. And yet, there's also the gift of hearing loss, which is meeting people that I would not have met otherwise, including Kunal. And like two of my hearing loss friends, as we call each other, Sherry and Roxana, we met through becoming involved in the Hearing Loss Association of America. Years later, during a pandemic, the three of us produced a documentary called We Hear You, and I have these cards if people would like more information. Sherry and I speak at screenings around the country to raise awareness of the lived hearing loss experience and encourage others to acknowledge, accept, and then advocate for what is needed to live comfortably and confidently with hearing loss. I would not call myself shy now. Who knew? And that 7th grade English teacher I spoke about earlier, we stayed connected. Yesterday, I was with her and her family to celebrate her 85th birthday. I told her I'd be speaking in front of you about my hearing loss and try to be funny, so she suggested ending with a joke. So here goes. Picture a large group of people at a protest outdoors. The person with the megaphone yells, "What do we want?" The crowd goes, "Hearing aids." She goes, "When do we want it?" "Hearing aids." And that's funny to those of us with hearing loss because that's how it goes sometimes, and you just gotta laugh.